The highly anticipated Rings of Power just came out, and a lot of people are wondering, is this just another spin-off, or is it really going to be true to the original series? Is it still going to have that fanfare?
Is it gonna
meet
pop the high expectations of this award-winning trilogy?
Yeah,
right?
Critics and fans are split between it, but we'll tell you exactly if this is worth your watch.
Yes, we'll give you our true, real take.
That was a masterpiece. I mean, I'm gonna give it 5 reels for sure. What?
Thanks again, guys, for tuning into the Real Screeners. We're back, as you can see, at the Alamo Draft House in West El Paso to give you this review of the Rings of Power. Now, before we dive into our review, I would just like to remind you guys to please consider subscribing to our channel. And if you like it so much that you want to know every single time we upload a video, hit that bell button, and of course, hit the like button.
Hit the bell.
That's
hit
right.
Every button you can find
Everyone.
on YouTube.
Everything helps.
So yeah, we're here to give you our take on the first 2 episodes of the Rings of Power. Of course, everyone is thinking about the Peter Jackson trilogy, the one trilogy to rule them all, of course. And so inevitably, we're going to make some comparisons here to that trilogy right here.
The extended edition.
Like you said, it's divided. There's a divisive reaction to the series already.
Yeah, which is dumbfounding.
Audiences are not liking it that much. Critics are, they're kind of like in between. And I have to say that as a true loyal Lord of the Rings fan, you are out of your mind if you're not loving the series. This is awesome. This is awesome. A very welcomed reintroduction to Middle Earth. Of course, to Valinor, because we start off in Valinor with the elves. And, you get a nice backstory about how the elves go to Middle Earth, and they're going to fight the battles of Morgoth, I think it's called.
I don't know. You know
and
better than
Sauron
I do.
is of course the threat, and it centers around characters that we're familiar with from Lord of the Rings, Galadriel and
Elrond.
And Elrond,
yes.
2 elves, of course, in the original trilogy played by Cate Blanchett, and of course
Hugo Weaving.
Yes,
from The Matrix.
So it focuses on them. Those are our 2 main characters here, and there's a centuries-long battle, and they kill poor Galadriel's brother.
Right.
And so Galadriel is hell-bent on revenge, and this is kind of like the main plot, but then there's all of these wonderful subplots, of course, focusing on hobbits, focusing on the dwarves, focusing on
elves and humans.
And
yeah, it's cool.
Yes.
What I like about this series, guys, is they do a good job of character building, world building. They're developing it methodically.
It looks so good.
Yeah. And the thing is, some people might say, oh, well, nothing's happening or it's slow. But, I mean, they're scene setting, and they're not doing it in a way to where it's trudging along. They're doing it in a way where you get invested in the characters and in the world, and that's the right way to do it.
I think that people like you, we've talked about this before, they want instant gratification with these shows, and this is such a welcome, fresh show. There's been a lot of hype about House of the Dragon, and this is, in tone-wise, of course, this is a fantasy show as well, but tone-wise, this is very different. But you still have a lot of mystery here, a lot of welcomed mystery, and impending danger, and the frightening dark imagery is present, and good acting. And like you said before, you said something really good about how you forget about how subplots or something like that.
Yeah, I was mentioning that the show is extremely engrossing. It grips you and it sucks you in so much with all these different scenes that at times you forget about the other subplots, And going back to something that you had said, and it does a really good job of weaving you into these people's lives and into different lands, so you really understand Tolkien's world, and you feel like you're thrust right back into this. In fact, when the show first started, from the get-go, you have this narration, and the music, cinematography, special effects, the costuming, everything made me feel like I was right back into this trilogy.
That's how I felt too. I absolutely am loving this series, and I will support it, and I will continue to watch for sure. I did want to mention that highlights, of course, Morfydd Clark, who plays Galadriel, and Robert Arameo, who plays Elrond. two great performances, and they have really good chemistry in their scenes together, I feel. And if I had to nitpick or mention a flaw, Galadriel's character can be a tad tropey. Something that we have revisited a lot in mythology is this idea of like revenge plots, and
Well, her brother got murdered. I mean,
I know, but they're really, really, really like, I think, a tad bit overplaying her anger about it and her frustration, and this is something that she cannot let go. And the only reason I have a beef with it somewhat is because she's an elf, and I've read The Lord of the Rings. I've also,
You've been an elf before?
I've been an elf before, and I know that us elves can be quite wise. Nah, just kidding. No, I just think that, of course, she's young. She's a young character, and it's going to take a millennia or a long time for her to reach that wisdom, but I don't know. It can be a little bit annoying. The other thing is that I am sorely missing Howard Shore's score, which I thought was so rousing in the original trilogy, and of course Oscar-winning score. As I understand, Howard Shore has a little bit to play in the Rings of Power, but most of the composition of the music goes to Bear McCreary as the new composer that's taking on the bulk of the composition.
Well, it's kind of tough to live up to greatness. I mean, I thought the score was fine, but I see where you're coming from. I mean,
I don't know. It's just that it's so memorable in the original trilogy. I hope that it really becomes that. It really comes to new heights again in this series. But yeah. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to give anything away, guys. Again, like he said, it does go into all these different subplots, so you get a nice feel of the world.
You got Nori, the Hobbit story there. You get the strange man or the stranger that falls from the heavens.
Right.
And we have some speculations or some guesses as to who that might be.
You also have a soldier, an elf soldier who's
Arondir, I believe is his name.
Right, and he's kind of in love, or he likes a human, and that's kind of interesting, right? That's taboo,
and
of course.
And again, it very much feels like Fellowship in the sense that there's a lot of mystery and a lot of like anticipation, and I really dig it. Dig it so far.
I mean, this is a good segue to one thing I really wanted to point out is in watching this, I felt like I was watching a movie or a show from my childhood from the 80s, because what they did very well back then, which they don't do as well today, is that they take their time with the suspense. It's a gradual buildup of the suspense for the villains. They take their time with the mystery. Things take their time to unfold, and so that's
and
I love that.
And absolute like awe-inspiring scenes, a la Steven Spielberg, if you will.
Absolutely, yeah.
You get that, and it took my breath away a couple of times, and I don't understand you viewers out there.
What's wrong with you?
I am dumbfounded. But anyway, as far as real ratings, shall we go there?
Sure, go ahead.
At this point? Okay. So as far as real ratings, I would give this, I don't know. I would give this a solid, I'm tempted to give it 5 reals, the highest rating, but I'm going to give it 4.5 because it's very early. I want to see what it does, where it goes, but it's a solid 4.5 for me, and I am very excited to continue to watch The Rings of Power.
Okay. So this is interesting for me because I pretty much love everything about it, although I do have, it's not even a flaw or a nitpick or anything, it's just a personal preference. So whenever they go to the scenes with the hobbits, I kind of want it to move along because I really like the more
very cute.
It's cute, goofy, silly, and I like the more serious.
But they're so cute
stuff. I know I like the more serious stuff. So that's just me. That's not even a flaw, right? It's just a preference. So so my rating is going to be based on the first 2 episodes. It is not to say how this show is going to unfold. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5 real rating, despite the fact that I want the hobbit scenes to move along. Objectively, it's well written. It is well written.
It's really good.
Super well written, guys.
You had mentioned that. It's very seamless and organic, right?
Yes. All these subplots, they all tie together. Obviously they're going to converge at a point, and so that helps grip you and it keeps you in there. And so, yeah, even those hobbit scenes are going to be meaningful, guys. So, yeah,
absolutely.
5 reels. I loved the first 2 episodes.
Absolutely. So, comments.
Yes.
Don't forget, we want to hear what you think about The Rings of Power, especially if you're a Lord of the Rings fan. Want to hear from you guys for sure. Don't forget to look us up on social media. We're at TikTok and Facebook at Real Screeners and Instagram real.screeners.
Don't forget, guys, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell button. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. And don't forget to tune in next time for our next Real Take on movies, TV shows, and everything
Cinema.